we had a magic band because everybody was full of fun and on and off the bandstand. Because we used to, now I see bands now, you know, trying to emulate the Basie thing, and the main ingredients was the fun.
Yeah,
I mean, they're sitting up seriously and
everybody
stuff.
stayed fun, you know, like we, you know, music is fun. It's supposed to, this music is supposed to be fun. Everybody's sitting down and trying to see how many notes they can play and how loud and how fast they can play, and ain't nothing happening, you know.
Ain't listening to
We
nothing.
had fun. Like we'd be sitting up playing, Freddie Green sitting behind me, and we'd be swinging like crazy. Freddie, hey Magic, 1 o'clock. I look up at 1 o'clock and it'd be the ugliest woman in the whole place. And he said, Frank Foster. You know, and all this shit is going on while we playing all the time. Everybody has.
Oh yeah.
All through the band, everybody had shit going on.
I think at
People
Birdland.
fucking with Basie too, you know.
What would you do to Basie?
Oh, everything. They put the shit on the piano. Like one time, Billy Mitchell put J on a sheet of paper. He had J-A-M-F on, you know. Well, that was a saying that we had. We call it, he's a jive-ass motherfucker, you know. So, Basie coming, he looked and said, what is this, you know? Billy Mitchell say, just a mere friend. There's always something going on.
Marshall used to have some kind of a thing where he would kind of spit into a Kleenex, clear his throat and stuff, and put the Kleenex, throw his Kleenex under the chair. Was it Billy Graham who lit it? Somebody lit the Kleenex under Marshall's chair.
Oh, the band was always some shit going on.
Billy Graham was another guy. I mean,
Yeah,
he
was
doesn't
nuts.
really. People don't remember he was with Basie's band, or don't even remember him. He was with Dizzy Gillespie, and in fact, that was his detriment. He tried to be crazier than Dizzy Gillespie.
He was. He didn't try to be. He was. He was nuts.
Yeah, but Dizzy made it work.
Bill Eckstein was sitting in Basie's seat. Basie was sitting across the aisle, and right in front of Billy Graham sitting right behind Basie. So Billy Graham said, hey, Basie, we gonna stop and eat tonight? He said, no, we're not stopping tonight, Bill. He said, man, we're hungry. We need some, you know, we have man thing to eat. Say, you got off and went late, you know. And no, we're not stopping tonight. We're going on in. And Billy Graham reached over the chair and grabbed. He had Basie by the throat. Basie's eyes.
Because nobody touched Basie.
He was choking the shit out of Basie. And Basie tried to fire him, and Billy Eckstein wouldn't let him fire him. Said, well, you gonna fire the man? The man's hungry. You can't fire the man. He wouldn't let him fire Billy Graham. Yeah. But that was funny thing, you know, when Billy Graham first came in the band. Well, I always sat next to the piano. Bass is right here, and I'm right here. And we were down at Pep's. You remember Billy Graham and Thad were roommates, you know.
Oh.
And they both got sick at the same time. Anyway, we're in Pep's playing, and Basie would, you know, he would just look at me, he said, look at Billy Graham. Billy Graham sat right here next to me. He looked at me. I don't like him. And Basie would say that. Now, that's when Billy first came in the band. Now, he didn't mean that he didn't like him. What he meant was that he knew he couldn't handle Billy. You know, he knew that. He could tell right from the beginning. That's when he say he didn't like him. You know. But he was crazy about Billy, you know. And Billy, when we went on the Birdland tour, we have Billy Eckstein, Zoot Sims, Stan Getz, and Lester Young. You remember, Helen?
Errol Garner.
Yeah, and Lester Young was the only one on the show that didn't have any music. And Billy Graham said, man, what the hell, you the president, you supposed to have, you know. Billy Graham wrote him 2 arrangements, rehearsed the band of the tunes that he was playing and gave it to Press, you know. So he'd have music to play on the show. He was something else. You know.
But I think those were some of the happiest days. And
Oh yeah, it was
with,
a happy band. Yeah,
with Sarah
well,
Vaughan
that's what
also.
Basie wanted. So Basie never messed with nobody. You know, and he never fired nobody. You had to fire yourself.
Yeah.
He never rehearsed the band. We rehearsed the band. Marshall, Joe Newman, Frank Foster, Thad Jones, everybody rehearsed the band, but him, he just sit back and listen, you know.
Yeah.
He never said nothing.
Really?
Well, he hired the best musicians and let them do what he hired them to do
Mm-hmm.
and leave them alone. He didn't tell us what to do.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
And then too, he always led by example. He was always neat,
Yeah.
always had some great shoes,
Yeah.
great. So you
And
know,
always into a bunch of shit. He always into some shit. Basie was always into something.
quietly.
Quietly, yeah. He never said anything, but he was always in this bunch.
Like what? Like business-wise, women-wise?
Yeah, any kind of way, any kind of
So
way.
it's
And he
something-
loved to gamble.
Oh, yeah.
Once we were on a train platform in England, waiting on a train, you know, and a fella passed by with a greyhound. It's misting rain, you know how the weather in England always terrible. And they said, "Can he run?" The kid said, "Yeah, he can run." Say, "What's his name?" He told him what his name was. Basie bet on him and won.
Wow.
Yeah, he bet on anything. He loved to bet.
That's funny.
One time he told me it was a beautiful sunny day, and he was at home, you know, and he wanted to go to the track because he loved the track. We used to be at Basie, we used to go to the track all the time. And he said he wanted to go to the track and he didn't have no money. So he said, "Damn." He said, "Catherine's got all them fur coats in there. I get one of them fur coats, you know." And and so he got one. She had about 6 or 7 fur coats, you know. So he went in the closet and got one of the fur coats and balled it all up like that, and he threw it out the window, you know, second story. And he looked out the window, and his mother-in-law was down there working in the flower garden, you know. She just looked at him and she said, "No, Bill." He was always into some shit. He was something else. He's a funny man.